Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's Pick a Read. These readings are valid for whenever you click into them. The reading is going to be about how are you seen and what can you do about it? Like, what can you do with it, I should say. There's these little hard hat things are actually quite teeny. If I put my finger next to them, you see how small they are. But they're meant to kind of like symbolize like a work in progress. Like something's going on here, there's something to be done. Whatever's in front of me, if I have more insight about how people are viewing me, maybe I can angle that or at least put myself in a position to where I can be what I want to be or be seen the way I want to be seen versus like maybe I'm not being seen the way I want to be seen. Sometimes we come off too meek or too strong, or we come across too brash or too timid. There's different variations of these things, and it's kind of like if we can understand how people are actually viewing us versus how we want to be viewed, and then find a way to move forward where we want to be, that can be very empowering. So hopefully this is a very empowering read for you. Currently, I am doing in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. If you're near there and want information, go ahead, shoot me an email. If you need a minute to, soak this up, maybe pause the video, decide which one of these hard hats you're interested in seeing, go ahead and do that now. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's also below. All right, without further ado, again, if you need to, go ahead, pause the video here, take a minute, decide which color you want to look into. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, this is for those of you who chose the blue helmet. How are you seen? What can you do with it? So let's find out. So part of this should be how you're feeling about this, maybe. Part of this should be maybe things you've seen from the other side. Oh, this is kind of nice. Okay. Whoever you're dealing with, there's coming to terms with the change. Whoever you're dealing with. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you want here, there is the feeling that I'm on the outside a bit. Feeling a little bit on the outside. Most of these are for you, which is fine. There's a hidden one here. Like, why is it like going, it's going slow. Okay, it is. You're trying to make your mind up. I feel like you want to take action. I think that's the thing here. And for those of you who this is going to connect with, it's not like you're trying to run ahead. You just want some motion moving forward with whatever this is. It's like, I feel like you have the energy of patience with you, kind of like, I don't need it in 5 minutes. I don't need fast food here. I don't mean it's like, I need something that's worth it, and I'm willing to work for that, and I'm willing to be patient with it. But like, I can't seem to attain this energy where I feel like I'm confident that it is moving forward. I feel like that's here with this situation. Like, I don't feel completely confident that this is actually moving forward or has really that ability. Whatever you're dealing with, and it doesn't have to be a person. It could be like a job or some type of situation like that. Whatever fits for you, of course. I don't think at the moment there's much coming back your way at the moment. Not a lot, anyway. Can we just get a little bit more clarity on that? This situation hasn't figured out what you're about. Who or whatever you're dealing with, I don't see them really connecting with like the potential. Even if you've known this situation or person for years, in the current moment, they do not know the deeper levels of you that are really important to this situation. Again, even if you've known them for a while, years even, there's parts of you that they're not focusing in on. They're not seeing, it's not lining up in their brain. It's almost like having all the pieces, but not realizing how they actually add up. It's like getting a puzzle in a box and not having the picture that goes with it, and just kind of saying like, oh, there's colors and there's shapes and there's things, but I don't know what to do with it right now. There could be potential here, but they're also looking at it like there's a bit of work that needs to happen to find out what really fits and what really doesn't. And they're not really sure yet if this moment is really something they want to do. I don't know if that's fair. Like, investing in another situation seems like, all right, hopefully this one is something for me, but I don't know. A lot of things look good to start with. A lot of things that look good to start with don't always stay that way. Sometimes the more you get into something, you're like, well, it looked good to start with, and then maybe not so much. And whatever you're dealing with may have that kind of opinion about you. Like, you look great, you sound great, you seem great. Doesn't mean you actually are. It's just that nervousness, whatever you're dealing with, probably has a history of dealing with situations that start off good and maybe just don't stay that way. Because I am getting this, it could be good, but I don't know. It might be worth it, but I don't know. It may be just a flat line the whole way. They don't seem to be truly empowered yet. Which I say truly empowered in the sense of like, I don't feel like this energy is weak, but they don't seem to be inspired at this moment. It's just not there at the moment. I feel like a lot of history and a lot of other things are weighing in on a subject that have nothing to do with you. It's like, what, you know, when people, they're just used to dealing with difficult things and difficult things and difficult things, and then something good shows up, and I feel like it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction of, oh, I've seen good things before, I've seen good things that don't last. And I feel like they're having a hard time. They might be having a moment where they're having to pick themselves up still, and they're still working on that. There's a lot of potential here, a lot of really positive potential right here. Whoever or whatever you're dealing with here does have a lot of positive potential. They have to come back to their truth. They have to come back to their center. They have to get back to their strength. They're working on it. You know, I don't know why I keep going back to this other than maybe I'm not making the point. Some people get beat down and it takes them a minute to stand back up. Even though there's something good right in front of them, it takes them a minute to believe in it. It just takes, because it's like the world has pulled out the rug from under them a few times, and it's just exhausting. It's taking them a minute to stand up and see what's really here. I don't think it's about you showing them. It's about them warming up to it and going, all right, I'm ready to try again. There's a positive, I know that there's a very positive energy here. For some reason, I also get this odd feeling that whoever this is hitting for, you probably can relate to how this has happened, probably to you. And maybe your energy is currently pretty good, pretty positive. But I feel like you can relate, and like, I've been through these moments in life. I know how that is. I just got to get back up on my feet and start moving forward and feel good about it again. And sometimes that takes a minute. I mean, everybody's story is different, you know, but I'm getting, this is one of those energies. I understand that judgment is coming in your favor at some type in the future here, at some point. And I do get the matching energy on the whoever, whatever you're dealing with. The Sun card is telling me this is going to match in. This has really good potential. This could be one of those connections, whether it be a person or a situation, that's going to last for quite a while. Because the Death card comes in like the truth is not showing up yet. But when it does, it's going to create a long, like you're still, it's like a birth. Sometimes the Death card is a birth card. At least that's how I see it, because life is never the same after this part of the story starts. And I get that could be happening here, especially when you have these three cards together. The Death card is very positive with these two backing it up, saying, because these are yet to show up yet, and they show up with the Death card. Like, life is never going to be the same after this. This is going to be a pivotal moment where things are going to get very, very beautiful, especially that Sun card is popping up here. Whoever you're dealing with, it's scary when things start to get good again, because they take on a heavy amount of responsibility that might need to be worked on a little bit. All right, so if this reading is hitting, the point is to help you empower yourself and to be aware of what's really going on in the situation so that you can help it mature in a way that serves you and doesn't create like a possible pitfall later. This seems to be, I feel like whoever or whatever you're dealing with takes on too much responsibility. That can be a problem. It's almost like it's feast or famine is kind of, and that kind of is showing me with this too. Sometimes the Emperor card has that balance where they're either all in and they're doing everything, or they're completely out and they're not at all engaged. And it's kind of like, it's not the fact that that's how they do things, because that is how I'm connecting with this energy. It's taking on, like, if this doesn't work, it's my fault energy. If this doesn't happen right, it's my fault energy. If I don't get this done, it's my fault energy. And not having that camaraderie or that connection, that balance, kind of like, whatever this is, you're a part of it, they're a part of it, whatever the situation is. And there needs to be a sharing of responsibility, a sharing of, getting things done. Because it comes in and I feel like they're shocked and they're nervous. Is that like the 10 or is that the 9? It's the 9. It's stress. That's better. That's better. Stress is better than the other one. The 10 is devastation. That's not good. The 9 is stress. They're shocked at this, the potential you're showing. And then all of a sudden it's kind of like, instead of being present in the moment and kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to open that puzzle box. There's a lot of pieces and it's going to take a lot of work, and they're kind of like holding off at first. And then they're like, oh, I'm all into it. This is going to be a great puzzle. I just saw the potential. I want to work on this. I want to try to get as much of this done as possible. I'm very connected. I got to keep on it. I got to make sure I'm a part of this. I got to make sure I stay present. I got to make sure I do my due diligence. It can go from one extreme to the other, which mostly because they don't want it to fail, and they're like, wait, there is potential here. Wait, this is really great. And then they can get too much on the other side. There's that balance there. There is the potential that this could actually balance out quite well. Hopefully, whoever's picked this one is if you're not a great communicator, at least open to communication, at least open to trying to be a good communicator. Because it might not be, you don't have to be a world-class communicator for this to go well. You have to be open. You don't have to be anything. It would be very helpful to be open to that and trying to build communication and understanding how they communicate and how your communication styles mesh. Because I get that we can actually work this out. Just kind of like step by step as things develop, talking about things as they develop and going, oh, you went crazy on that one. You went really full up, but you did great. You did great with it, but I don't think you had to take all that on. It's almost like somebody throwing a party. It's kind of like you didn't have to make the food, bring the food, decorate everything, put it all together, and then make sure it worked out the whole time, and then break it all down and put it all away and clean it all up. I could have done half of that. I could have done my share, and I would have been happy to do so. All we need to do is communicate more. Granted, maybe this is one of those things that you needed to be in control of. I'm at peace with that. But I could have helped you make this. I could have helped you set that up. I could have helped you maintain the level during the party, and I would have been more than happy to help you clean up. And it's kind of saying, yeah, that worked out great, and yeah, you did wonderful, but this could be better, and we could build more of a connection together if you work with me and help me know what you want and help me be a part of this. I would like to be a part of this. And if you're willing to maybe give off some of this responsibility, let me create some of the food, let me maintain some of this, let me take care of and do the cleanup too, let me have some of these pieces that I can do my share, and then we can build that connection even stronger. It's not about, I don't feel like you can get ahead of this successfully. It's more about, okay, that worked out pretty good, but I feel like this can be a more pleasurable time for you and me if we try this in a different way. I don't feel like I want to control anything with this. I keep getting that, so I don't know what that's about. So if there's a question about somebody having control, I feel like I don't want to control anything. It's not what I'm looking for. I just want things to work out. I just want things to sustain and continue. And it's working on that balance and where that really works. Not making it too heavy, not like we have to solve it right now, we have to fix it right now. Just realizing it's a continuing story, and there's always a chance to make the story better. and to evolve the story in a way that's very comfortable for whoever you're dealing with and yourself. It's a work in progress, but I feel like the work in progress can be a beautiful thing. It's like the more work we put on it, the more we understand each other, the more we build from it, the more we get out of it. So it's going to be a constant work in progress, but I feel like it can be a very pleasurable work in progress. And it's just every now and then doing that self-audit for you, but also how you match up in the situation, and maybe teaching whoever or whatever you're dealing with to self-audit itself as well. So kind of like, oh, this is how that worked out. I like this. This could have gone better. Knowing what I know now, I actually would have done this way instead of that way. Or knowing what I know now, I like how I did that. I didn't realize it was going to play out that way, but that worked out better than expected. I want to continue doing that. Stuff like that. There's a lot of potential coming forward with this. It's really beautiful energy. Like, this is the first one on this pick a read, and I'm just like, these two cards coming in, especially with the death card, very positive, very good energy. So there's a lot of potential here. In case I didn't answer it clearly, what you can do with it is just kind of be aware of how it's evolving and what it's going through, whatever the situation is, and then try to peacefully work with it, give suggestions, and keep slowly but surely changing the energy in a positive way and helping it evolve not only where it wants to go, but where you want it to go as well. I feel like this is a very good one. I almost feel like a sunshine rainbow reader on this one. I'm like, it looks really good. Although I feel like if you look at this in an honest sense, whoever or whatever you're dealing with is kind of struggling a little bit and maybe putting way too much pressure on themselves. Having the ability to see that and to kind of bring down that stress so that you can flourish with this as well, I think that's the advantage here. I think we're there. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Hello. This one is for those of you who chose the orange hard hat. How are you seen? What can you do with it? Okay. Big breath before we started. Made me wonder, and I'm like, what are we getting into? That came out with a double. This is external factors. Oh, that's external factors? Okay. Okay. Yeah, for the people who this is going to hit for, you've got the drive. I have no question about having the drive to do it. My question also is, though, what are you doing to move forward this situation? There's a lot of cards popping up here. Okay. Okay. You've got the drive. The other side seems very positive, but I'm curious where this is going. Because the current energy, you're moving towards it, I feel like you're sustaining the energy. So for example, if you were going for a job, you're putting in all the effort, you're trying to answer the questions correctly, you're trying to learn stuff about the business, you're trying to tell them what you think they need to hear so they understand that you're the right fit. You're kind of like, I have these qualities, I know you're looking for these qualities, so I'm making sure I'm highlighting these qualities because I know you need those qualities. And well, whoever or whatever this is, other side seems to be very positive. This could be a romance reading. It could be a romance reading. So it depends on how it hits for you, because I get the Two of Cups there. You're putting in a lot of effort and they're seeming to like it. But I keep feeling like you're the one putting in the effort. It makes me a little uncomfortable. Because what you're creating here, I kind of feel like you're creating it. Whatever you're creating, like you're creating. It's not that the other side doesn't have potential, but you're already moving forward. Like it feels like you're already engaged in this situation. I'm going to do some dice on that because something is making me a little uncomfortable. there's uncertainty. Like, is this going to actually create what I want it to create? Or am I just like, is this a moment in time? The world card came in question like this. Like, am I going to go into a whole new phase? Or is this a false start? I mean, the world comes in like this, in my opinion, for the way that I read it. It's questioning, like, is this a false start? Is this something that could potentially be something that changes my whole life? Or is this something that, like, when it's like this, kind of like, it has the potential, but for some reason it's just not going to actuate, and it's just not going to take hold. It's like putting in an offer on a house. This could be a beautiful thing. This could create a whole new schism in my life. If I start living here, this is going to change my life in a certain way. If I don't get that house, though, if I put in that bid and it just doesn't take, it could have been great, but it just didn't take hold. It just didn't latch on. And I realize, even though there's positive energy now, it's like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? And it bothers me. There's social connections around this. There's social energy here. There's a lot of political energy. I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like I'm being you know, when you're at one of those parties and there's some good people, there's some not good people, and then there's everybody else. And it's kind of like, I don't know what to make of this. Especially if you're somebody who's more empathic and you can feel that energy. Like, there's some really good energy here, but there's some really bad energy here. But most of it's just kind of just here. And you don't really know what to make of it. You're like, I guess it's okay that I'm here. I don't really want to leave, but I also feel like I keep my eyes open, but I really don't know if it matters at the same time. And it's kind of like, what's going on here? It's a lot of weird energy here. A lot of talking, a lot of communication, but it's almost like I feel like a lot of this communication isn't going to go anywhere. Some of it could. But I'm like, I can't go around and police every conversation to find out what's going to happen here. There's a lot of weird energy here. Just kind of like people getting along, people trying to get what they want, a lot of people talking about things that have potential that really don't happen. That Seven of Cups is a fantasy card. The Ace of Swords paired up with that Seven of Cups. It's kind of like, if we just talk about it, it's not, talk by itself is not enough. We need to make something happen. This has the potential to create a plan to make some really beautiful things happen. But if we don't have action as a part of it, it's just a nice thought. It just reminds me of putting in a lot of details and creating a plan, but never stepping forward on the first step. That's what kind of this reminds me of. The energy, whatever this is, seems very dependent on you. Do you realize, okay, this card, I like this card, but it's where it's showing up is making me nervous. It's the Empress, which is a beautiful card. Are we gonna, yeah. The Magician, the Five of Pentacles, like this, which is telling me I'm not completely in, I'm not completely out. It's kind of like, you know, it's like having friends and going on to a new team. And you have like two friends that were good. And you're going into this team where you have two people, maybe there's 15 people on this team. It's a larger team. And you have two people that you've done well with in the past. But you don't really deal with them directly very often. You have some good connections, some good influence here, but you're not able to actually actuate what you've already done in the past. And you're trying to get in with the current energy, and it's kind of here, it depends on the day. It just seems like some days it goes well, other days it seems like I'm not existent. It's like, well, I don't know where I really sit with this energy. And it keeps feeling like that. And I feel like I'm trying to navigate what's actually here, but it's like, again, if you're going on to this new team, they haven't really made up their mind about if they like you or if they don't like you, and they're trying to. It's kind of like in an honest situation, people have their good points and their not so good points. It's just, I feel like you have a lot of good ones, but they're also like I don't know, I feel like they have a lot of question marks. So what if this person isn't good at this, and what if this person isn't good at this? What if orange hard hat person doesn't do well at that? I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not really super comfortable with this because I feel like there's too much invested in this process. Ironically, it's kind of like, are we going to give the better way to be, in my opinion, would be to like, are we going to give orange hard hat a chance and see what our orange hard hat is made of, versus kind of like, well, I know I saw them scratch behind their ear. What if they have some type of communicable disease? What if they have some type of skin rash? It's kind of like, no, people just itch once in a while because it's dry outside. We don't have to go that far with it. And I feel like that's the point I'm getting with this. This energy is like trying to predict ahead what potential you actually have, and they're running with little signs that aren't really matching up. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And you putting in, I feel like, again, this is a card when it's out of balance, it takes care of everybody else but not themselves. That's, and I didn't want to say it, but that is when that card is out of balance. They take care of everybody to the point of exhaustion, and they don't look out for themselves. They don't remind people, like, I'm looking out for you. You need to look out for me too. This isn't just a me give you until I freaking pass out. This is a me give it to you, but you should be balancing that out and giving back to me when I need it too. We should all be working together. This should have a balance to it. I don't feel that balance at this point, and it's aggravating me. It's starting to aggravate me. I don't feel that balance here. These two cards I saw come in, and they're not, in the Zodiac, they're not compatible usually. There's, people have complicated charts, but like these two raw energies are not usually compatible. It's the Emperor and it's the Devil. The Emperor is very much, ironically, this is how I see it. This is what it is. I'm not settling for anything but what I want. I feel like this is ironic that I'm saying this with the Devil. The Devil will honor commitments as long as they're honored. And they feel like people are working with them. They also don't like a lot of change. This card, the Devil, doesn't like a lot of change, ironically. This card does like a lot of change. These cards, this might not, like, if you're the Devil energy, it's not saying that you're bad. It's saying you have boundaries, you have limits, you have needs, you have wants. And if you're not honoring your own, other people aren't going to honor them either. And then at some point down the road, when you realize you're not being honored, you're not going to be happy about that. And it's probably going to be one of those things where when it's broke, it's broke. So it's kind of like we don't have to do anything. It'd probably be helpful if we address that sooner rather than later. This other energy, these two energies don't work well. Like this card is kind of like very bold, very, this is what it is, very, they can use truth as a weapon. That's one of the negative sides of this. But it's also very positive. It's very activated. It's very up front and usually honest about what they're thinking and feeling, usually, in my opinion. These two, and this energy has, again, boundaries, borders, things that have to be honored. If they're not honored, it's not going to fly. There's also something with the history of this situation. Can we get a little bit more about that? The Six of Cups is on your side. Why does that one dice have to go all the way over there? You've heard things. Whatever this is, you've probably heard things, and you're trying to sort out what's truth and what's not truth. Even though this energy is very nice and really happy and really good to you while you're doing all the work, I don't know how this is going to sound. If it's a romance read, I'm sorry. If it's something else, it's the truth that I'm getting, so take it with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. They're not completely satisfied. There's something else they want. The thing is, I feel like the truth is that they're not finding everything they're looking for. And ultimately, I feel like they're not satisfied with whatever it is you're offering. Even though you're doing all the work and they like it when you do all the work, there's something here that is just not clicking for them, and they're not finding what they really want to find. I feel bad saying that, but I'm getting that that's part of this. They might be a little bit more critical about things because there's certain things they want from this connection that they're maybe you just don't possess. You know what I mean? For example, maybe they're looking for an Olympic athlete, and like you're like, well, I'm not really a backflip type of person. Sorry, it's just not my thing. You know what I mean? Or maybe they want a world class baker, or they want somebody who can balance the books with math without any issues, or they want a world class writer, whatever it may be. And that's just not a quality that you have. It's just not. I mean, take this read with a grain of salt. It's meant to be empowering. This situation I keep getting is only surviving as long as you're doing the work. And I feel like it can last quite a while as long as you're doing the work. Once you, like, some of the advice here is to step into your power, like literally. I don't know if I want to use the word demand. Create the balance. I don't know about demand. I feel kind of weird saying that word. I mean, readings are for entertainment purposes only. Take it with a grain of salt. The sooner you try to create that balance, it's going to probably start falling apart. If this reading is on, if you start trying to create that balance where you're not doing all the work, you're going to notice it starts falling apart because the other side seems to pull away and feel like, well, I don't really want to do that. If you're doing all the work, great. But if you're not, maybe I'm done with this story. There's other possibilities for you out there. Whatever this is not your last chance for whatever happiness you're looking for, be it business, romance, whatever it may be. But as soon as you start trying to balance it, it starts to crumble. That opens other doors that gets you out of this situation and heading towards something that's more compatible for you. Fellow travelers, things moving forward, new vistas, expanding your horizons. I don't think I've shown this card yet, but in case I haven't, here you go. If I did, sorry. Because I get that this situation is not going to feel bad about moving on. And it seems like if you start balancing it, you're going to be surprised how fast it just kind of moves on fast. But I don't feel any negative energy, at least not on their side. They seem to be like, oh, well, it was fun while it was fun. And they just, there they go. It was fun while it was fun. Gotta go. I don't see them trying to leave any negativity behind. They seem to be maybe a little bit relieved that it's over, which they could have stood up and shut it down at any point anyway, but whatever it was is what it was. You're going on to new vistas. They're going on to new vistas at some point. The thing is for you to not be held down by this situation and feel that empowered energy going into your new direction, first light, going into something else, letting this go, realizing that, you doing all the work is not fair and not going to bring you the fulfillment you need. Moving towards something else that not only you can do your part, but the other side wants to match that energy and help you build something greater. That's what we need. It's kind of like if we're going to make this really simple, if you're bringing in $50 to this situation every day you bring in $50, you're bringing $50, you're bringing $50, you're bringing in $50. If you're always the one that has to bring in the $50 and you and whoever you're dealing with are just living off of that $50, you're only going to go so far. But if you find somebody else who's like, hey, you got $50, I got $50. So now every day you have $100 to work with. And they're like, hey, I got up to $65. By the way, there's opportunities for you. Maybe we could both do $65. So now they're bringing in 65. They're bringing you up to 65, and you keep building each other up like that. That's what you're looking for, to bring that exponential energy, which doesn't have to be monetary, but for some reason I went there. That's what you're looking for. The way the current energy is going, it's just like, it's always 50. And then if you're bringing in more, it's just like you're the one putting in the work and they're just getting the benefit. That's not fair. And this is about going into a new cycle, finding something that honors you, that you can build from and have a beautiful thing. So it's kind of like, I know I'm equating it towards money, but it's like, instead of building up to 65 and feeling like you're doing really good, can you imagine building up to 130, if my math is correct, and using that daily? How much more could you do? How much more could you help? How much better could you make the world being able to share that type of energy, if you think of it that way? Are we good? All right. I think we're set. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Hello, this is for those of you who chose the green hard hat. How are you seen? And what can you do with it? What can you do with it? Let's find out. Okay. So the people who are connecting to this one, I feel like you're very cooperative. Very cooperative. Okay. Ooh. So you got the Sun card at the bottom of the piece I picked up. What's going on for them? This might be one of those readings where once you see it for what it really is, it might free you from something. It might actually kind of be like, oh, that's what's going on here? Maybe I'll make a different choice. Maybe. Very cooperative. Whoever this is connecting for, very cooperative, very active energy. I would dare to say very positive in the sense of like, I try to get along. I try to keep things moving. I try to keep people happy. I try to keep myself happy. You seem very loyal to whoever this is connecting for. And there may be a question here, for those of you this is hitting for. It's not about you being loyal, because I feel like there's, like, you're loyal, you're just loyal. It's about who deserves your loyalty. Top of that list, hopefully, is you. You need to be loyal to who you are, how you feel, and what you want. Loyalty to self, you can't do anything else if you're not loyal to yourself first. Things will fail and constantly fail until you're loyal to yourself and your feelings and what you will and will not stand for. Okay, so we're just kind of going to sit with that for a minute. I don't know. All of a sudden, the energy kind of was like, yes, exactly. And I'm like, all right, I guess we're just going to sit with that for a second. Is there anything else with that part that I need to make a point with? Maybe I just hit it right. Maybe that's why it kind of just sat there. You can create a lot from that. That alone will put you in a position where you'll look at things and like, this is not, even though I can have this, do I want this? And if I don't want this, even though I can have it and I really don't want it, why am I here? That might put you in that power position. Whatever you're dealing with in this situation is very, very, very established with how it feels and what it wants. And there might be the question here of like, does this really link up where you need it to? Is this what you want? Because it seems like it feels very rigid. It feels very rigid in my opinion. And if that works for you, great. If that doesn't work for you, which I don't know at this point, whether that works for you or not. Because I'm seeing here that I'm acknowledging it going forward. This situation does not seem to be moving anywhere. It just seems like it is what it was, and what it was is what it will be. It just seems like where I stand now, that's where it's been. That's where it's always been. And where it's been, that's where we're going. The same place. It's like we're going around in this circle, and we're just going to dig the groove in a little bit deeper every time, but that's it. We're just going to, this is what it is. Some people, you may like that. Other people, you may not. Some of you may be like, well, kind of like in certain aspects it's good, in other aspects, no. And if it's like a mix of it, are the pieces of this that you don't like, is that doable if it's never changing? Or vice versa, the parts that you do care for, is that going to be enough to sustain the situation and keep you a part of it? Is this happening? You got the Justice card in question, but I feel like the reason they're putting that there is like they're putting that question out to you. Are you balancing this out? Are you putting yourself in this equation? Is the loyalty to you being honored by you? That might be a little bit of a struggle, because I feel like the Nine of Wands came in like this. It's kind of like I kind of do, I kind of don't. And the World card is coming in with it too. Kind of like, if I really do this, if I really put myself through that process, there's going to be a change, is what I'm getting. The World is kind of like, it doesn't have to mean you're leaving this situation, but it might change how I view or add into it. It's kind of like, I'm gonna stop trying to shoot for the stars if I'm never going to be let out of this, like if there's a glass ceiling, I'm going to stop shooting for the stars. It's kind of like one of those things. I'm not going to break myself in half trying to get through that glass ceiling when I'm starting to realize I can't. It's just not going to happen. At least not the way things are currently going. If I'm dependent on another energy to help get me through that, and it's not going to work with me on that, I'm going to stop trying to do it this way at the very least. If I want to get through to the stars, it's not going to be with this help. It's going to be, I have to do it a totally different way. And that might be the World coming in, realizing that maybe you're not going to stop shooting for the stars. You're just realizing that what you're working with isn't going to aid you in that process, and you might need to make choices with that. Because I feel like I am addressing this going forward. Sooner or later, I feel like no matter what I say in this reading, if it's hitting, you're going to realize that this is not going to bring you forward any farther. What it is what it was, is what it's going to be. And I feel like I keep seeing that, and I'm like, do I want to cut ties with this, or do I want to keep going? Is this going to work for me? It does seem to be very stable. Somebody else is very much pushing things forward, and it's going where they want it to go. This is on their side. So whoever or whatever you're dealing with, they've got more advancements, more evolution coming forward for them. But whatever it is, they're going where they want to go. Whatever you're looking for, I just don't think it's a factor. I'm not feeling it. Can we just verify that with the dice? So the person who chose the green hard hat, how do they factor into this person's, whatever they're dealing with, choices? The Magician reversed and the Five of Swords reversed. The Five of Swords reversed is weird. It's kind of like, if you're unhappy, it doesn't seem to bother them. The Five of Swords, like if it was right side up, it's the fruitless win. It's kind of like, I got what I asked for, but it doesn't matter. It's kind of like winning the house that you've always wanted, but not having the money to support it and live in it. So it's kind of like, I technically got what I wanted, but I can't keep it. So even though I won, I feel like I lost. That's the fruitless win. Reversed, it's kind of like, even if you lose, they're like, well, you're not going anywhere. So even if you're unhappy, so what? That's kind of the energy I'm getting from that. In the Magician reversed is telling me they're not moving anything forward based on what you want. If this reading is hitting, it's hitting. If it's not, it's not. This is one of those readings, definitely. It's either there or it's not. And I feel like the way this reading feels, the signs are already there. I feel like you've already seen this. I feel like it's more about addressing it and accepting it and seeing it for what it is. It's not, this reading isn't creating any of this for you. If this reading is hitting, it's maybe highlighting something that you kind of already know is there, but they're kind of like pushing it forward. Like if you address it and see it for what it really is and kind of soak it in, it can empower you to make different choices going forward, so you can have what you want and you don't have to be subject to what somebody else is allowing you to have. You have the potential for the sun here through changes, but I feel like it's changes that you have to make and you have to decide. I feel like a lot of you who are clicking onto this, you have the potential for literally a great adventure, but that's something you have to completely take up on your own. This is something like, however you're being seen in this situation, I just don't feel like it's empowering you and getting you where you need to go. So it may be like, you might need a different situation to be empowered and get where you actually want to be in life. Seeing it for what this is also here. I feel like they're saying this is the current energy where it's positive, people are nice to you, but it's kind of like, where am I going with this situation? When is my turn coming? Is my turn coming? And it's almost like maybe that's part of this. Maybe some of you are holding on thinking you've been very loyal to the situation. So since I've given so much to it, shouldn't that come back my way? Shouldn't I be counted? Shouldn't I be, honored? Shouldn't people be like, well, you did so good, Green Hard Hat. Now it's your turn to have what you want. Now it's your turn to have this. Shouldn't that happen anyway? And it's just not balancing that way. And even though you're getting along and being very positive, the stars here are kind of saying, well, if this reading is hitting, that's never going to be a factor in what you're dealing with. But once I see that, once I know that, it's very odd that this is popping in. It's almost like once I realize that this is blocked and not going to advance with me, I almost feel like that really does empower me, and kind of like, I don't have to feel bad about letting this go, because this situation doesn't seem to be worried about what I want. So why should I feel bad about what they want? If they don't care about what I want, why should I feel bad about what they want? Take that with a grain of salt. Readings are for entertainment purposes only. This is funny that I'm going to say this, because I don't want to demonize whatever you're dealing with. Meanwhile, the overall energy I see going forward for whatever you're dealing with is the Devil card, which talks about very strict boundaries, and it won't move forward anywhere except where it wants to go. If you add into that and you are aligned with where they want to go, you can come. But if you're expecting them to change direction based on what you want, it's not really going to happen. They do have the potential to change direction, but only if it gets them where they want to go and it makes sense for their end goal. And I just, again, when I did the dice on this for like them thinking about how things feel for you, it doesn't seem like it's a factor. It seems like they got more aspirations to move forward and advance and do things that they want. And there's a lot that they want. And it's kind of like, maybe you live with somebody and you have this house. Maybe they have potential to where they're going to sell this house at some point, and they're going to move 2 hours away, 200 miles away, wherever. They know where they're going, and it's kind of like, well, this is where I'm going. You can come if you match this. If you want to do this with me, you can come with me. But if you don't, well, then bye, because I am going there. And that seems to be this energy. Like, this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to be there. I have goals in life. My goals are taking me there. I'm going there either way. Whether you come with me or not, I'm going there either way. So I almost feel like maybe that's another level of this, realizing that whatever or whoever you're dealing with has its own goals and is not willing to bend or break on those goals, or even change them or advance them or evolve them, however you want to put it. They're not willing to do that. What they want is what they want. They've set their goal. They're going to attain it. If you match, you can come. If you don't match, then, well, I guess you're not coming then. And then they seem to be at peace with that. Are they at peace with that? Let's just do... This one's kind of interesting, because it's kind of a mix of like the energy not matching you, but also at the same time, once you realize it, it seems to be very empowering for you. The World coming in for them. The Five of Swords, this time right side up. Whether you come or not, they seem to be fine. I don't know, I just keep getting that. Whether you go along their path or not, they don't seem to be upset or not upset, no matter which way you choose. That's okay. I mean, that's what it is. That's what I'm getting. I have a feeling for the people that this is going to really click with, I don't think it's going to devastate you at all. I feel like it's just going to be like, all right, well, that is what it is. So if that's how they feel, then why? I feel like it's almost like I don't feel like I should feel bad about going my own direction if that's how they feel. And I feel like if this reading is really hitting, there should be things you can do to verify if this really makes sense or not. Has the way it's always been, is that how it currently is? And does it look like it's going to keep going that way? It's kind of like, this is what it is. It's what it's always been. And it looks like that's the way it's always going to be. I don't know if I want to give this analogy, but I guess I will, because it keeps pinging me in the head. People have been in marriages, and I've seen this, where one person always gets what they want. And people get into these, like, even like when they were dating, when they were going through the before you get married thing, you know, whatever. The whole time, it's always been that way. And they get to this point where they realize, I don't know what happens. They just have this moment where they're like realizing what they want never is accounted for and never seems to come forward. And then all of a sudden they just have this switch of viewpoint, and they're just like, why am I worried about it? Do I really want to be with this person anymore? Why am I so worried about their goals? Why is it always about their goals? And it's just like they have this moment where they got used to it for the longest time, and then they're just like, you know what, no more of that. And there's only one reference I have in my brain, and it was a peaceful parting of ways, and it was almost shocking to me how peaceful it was, because these people seemed to get along quite well. The fact that it was so peaceful, it's almost like, I don't know, was it just peaceful because the one person always gave in? And then when they decided not to give in, they just went their own way, and they're more than happy to do that. I still don't know that one. That one baffled me, because it seemed like it was a very peaceful splitting of ways. It was very peaceful, as far as I could tell. I just remember feeling like, wow, that's just interesting. I just couldn't put my finger on like what is going on there, but maybe I wasn't supposed to, just to be fair. All right, I think we're done. Hopefully that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.